Okay, it's William here, and it's sunrise here in a uh, parking garage in Hartford that I just got done reviewing, and that is testimony to the love of the car. Um, I watched yesterday a vlog by a young man known as the Nomadic Fanatic. And this young man's been on YouTube for quite some time. He has a very popular channel and many subscribers and followers. And I just never knew how young or old he was, but yesterday I saw his vlog, and he celebrated his 37th birthday in Iowa. And a great vlog because he covered a lot of topics and subjects which I found fascinating. I always felt myself sort of akin to this young man in the mobile home with the cat traveling around the country. And he kind of put everything into perspective yesterday in his vlog from Iowa. And I just wanted to comment on that. And it brought up a lot of comparison and contrast between him and I, the way we both sort of travel around the country, and the way we travel around the country and things like that. It's sort of a generational difference between us, but I think the way each of us approach the country speaks to our generation. And so anyways, I'm here atop Hartford here in Connecticut, and I just wanted to notice some things about his video on his birthday. It was his 37th birthday, which makes him older than I thought he was. I thought he was younger than that. I thought he was maybe 27, more a millennial than a Generation Xer. But yeah, he's a Generation Xer. And if you remember, the Generation Xers were victims of the housing bust. I mean, they were part of the, take out the loan and the bank will pay you, to buy this house and stuff. And they fell victims to a lot of the unscrupulous stuff about mortgages and things like that. So it's interesting. I mean, he appeals to the Generation Xers, obviously, because of the number of subscribers he has. And he doesn't have a brick and mortar home. He has a mobile home. So it's kind of like a wise choice, for his generation, who were victims to housing and saw the horrors that came out of cities like Phoenix, where, oh yeah, you can, we'll give you no interest rate, on this mortgage. We'll just give you the money, and, pretty soon they find themselves underwater, and their houses are worth less than they, initially paid for it. So sort of like a car, a new car, you take it off the lot, it's like, it's not worth what it used to be, so victims of Generation X were many. And it's ironic that this young man, this Nomadic Fanatic, should have a mobile home, and travels off the lot with it and around the country. Um, so there's a difference. I'm 57. He's 37. Okay. Um, and with him, he travels. His companion is a cat named Jax, and I kind of find that interesting. Sort of like a therapy cat or a therapy dog. I don't know. It's those therapy pets are popular and stuff. Um, I have a therapy backpack, William, and so where he will talk to his pet cat, I will howl at the moon and scream at the city, you know, uh, out of indignation. So we both have like sort of traveling companions. The only difference is his is tends to be um, real, a cat named Jax, and mine is like a soccer ball, you know, named Wilson, or in my case, a backpack named William. And that I think speaks to generations because certainly my generation grew up howling at the moon and shooting out the lights in parking lots, you know. In the video, and I really urge you to watch this. It's a great video for the Nomadic Fanatic at 37. He talks about having a new camera, and the differences really in the picture is phenomenal. And he travels around the country, and with the camera, he not only shoots himself, but he also shoots the sites where he goes to. And many of the sites he goes to um, are nature. This young man has a love for nature and the natural, and the shots he gets at various campsites or around the country of parks and stuff are just phenomenal. And he really uses the camera in a very, very good way, and he finds comfort in nature, as I do myself. He sees the beauty in it, um, and how he prefers sometimes just to be alone and without anybody around, and prefers solitude with nature or with just his mobile home and his cat, and doesn't really care to meet people and build relationships and work the road and stuff with the locals in every town he goes to. And it's funny because I sort of see myself in the same vein. But while he sees beauty in nature and shoots it quite eloquently with his equipment, I do. I find beauty in nature too, but mine, my enjoyment is more, shall we say, Emerson-like. It's more transcendentalist. Um, I find peace in nature more as a transcendentalist than a photographer. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's more of a Emerson Thoreau kind of thing going on with me than with him. But I do see both of us being very much in tune with solitude and being away from the strife and the strain of the cities and towns that both of us go to. Um, Fanatic, I know, loves the quirky. He finds, he has a thing for the quirky and the unusual and the odd in the towns that he goes to. Same with me, and I think it's just human nature when you go to another city that might look like the last city or town you were in to find the unusual, and he finds you know the quirky, uh, you know, very appealing. For me, it's not only quirky, but I take it more, I see it more motif, you know. I kind of like motifs from city to city to city. What links town to town to town, like a Carnegie Library, you know, and how one Carnegie Library in Nashville differs from a Carnegie Library in Arizona or in Pittsburgh. Um, you know, so I look really for more motifs than quirky. Although, you know, I keep an eye out, as my brand will show you, for the quirky, when in cities like Dallas and stuff. Um, both of us are beer drinkers, you know. Uh, the Nomadic Fanatic tends to like the Bud Light, I've noticed, and is not, you know, not ashamed to promote it. Me, I'm kind of old school, being a baby boomer. Uh, I prefer the 211 or the what I found in Baltimore, the Natty Daddy, which I think is very telling of me. You know, more representative of me and maybe my generation. You know, both of us have been persecuted and hated throughout the country by those who are, I don't know, envious of us or just spiteful of us. But yeah, he's had his troubles on the road with locals that, with him, I don't know. It sounds like a lot of his haters are envious, it seems to me, um, for whatever reason, the younger sort. But he's had his trouble along the road. Um, and in fact, he just got done promoting t shirts that he was selling called Tater Haters. Or something like that. It was like, it's don't be a tater hater or something like that. Because I guess the trouble he was finding on the road was getting so bad that he decided to promote that, So he was selling T-shirts called, with Tater Hater, or Don't Be a Tater Hater or something like that. And so he's had his troubles, and I, of course, have documented my troubles on the road with being in the wrong place or the wrong time or the wrong drug of choice, you know, throughout the country. As I've been, robbed and hijacked and stuff. So both of us have both, seen our troubles um, throughout the country. William tends to park at campsites or out in the wilds or at Walmart parking garages. To me, the older man with the bag instead of the mobile home, I tend to park in parking garages. As I park my home in parking garages, and if not parking garages, then I'm in some doorway or sleeping hopefully peacefully in some park somewhere, or a shelter. Although I find shelters more threatening in many ways, with the local neighborhood boys than I do, empty parking garages where you know boys, local homeless boys that don't have cars, cannot go to. You so anyways, I just wanted to take this time here at sunrise to note this vlog by this Nomadic Fanatic that I watched yesterday from Iowa, and just comment on it, and just say how you know impressed I am by this young man, and you know, and how struck I was by the differences between us. And the differences between us seem more generational than anything else. And it was quite striking what he had to say and how he said it. And I've been watching him for a while, so I'm gonna try to post his video, this vlog of his, on my site, so you can check it out. And if you haven't heard of him before or haven't seen him, definitely check him out. He's Nomadic Fanatic, younger man, kind of a young version of William, and his travels around with Jax, his cat. Um, while I travel with my bag, and the howling of the moon, and these vlogs. So check them out, and it's a striking contrast between old school and new school, Generation X transients, if you will, and baby boomer transients. Quite remarkable. Here in Hartford, it's William at his home and parking garage.